Part 30, Chapter 59. When the helicopter retreated, Hale told Terry to bend and cup her hands. She did, and he placed his boot in her palms. Vaulting to the roof of the bomb car, he raced ahead, zigzagging to avoid being an easy target. There was only one gunman left on top of the car. He was climbing to his feet as Hale rushed him. The men collided, and the gunman fell back off the end of the boxcar. He landed head first on the flat car. Hale fell on top of him, inadvertently bending the man's neck so the back of his head touched between his shoulder blades. There was a sound like popping bubble wrap, and the man lay still. Hale rose, wincing. He leaned against the chopper's sponson support strut as Terry came around the side of the boxcar. She stepped onto the flat car. "Are you all right?" she asked. "I think I broke everything." "You'll live," Terry said. She reached down, took the man's pistol, and tucked it into her belt. "At least you're not as bad as him." "No," Hale agreed. "I broke him worse. Didn't mean to, though." "Yeah, well, get that I'm sorry look off your face," Terry said. "It couldn't be helped." Hale looked back at the bomb car. "Did you see who shot at the chopper?" Terry shook her head. "I came around the other side. It was probably Deakins, though. He's not going to leave his pet bomb." There were voices atop the boxcar, and Hale looked up. He saw heads and gun barrels. "They're coming back for another round," he said. "Let's go." "Where?" she said. "We're running out of time." "I know," Hale said. He took Terry's hand and pulled her towards the tail of the Red Cross helicopter. "But if we're dead, it won't matter how much time we have." As they ran along the chopper cabin, a gunman jumped from the bomb car to the flat car. The thug fired, but the sponson was in the way and took the hit. Hale and Terry kept running. Hale leaped over the cable holding the tail pylon to the car. Terry looked back at the gunman, didn't see it, and tripped. Hale turned and helped her up just as the gunman came around the helicopter. "Don't move!" the gunman yelled. He was holding his semi-automatic in front of him, at arm's length and chin high. Hale was facing him. Terry's back was to him. Neither of them moved. "Raise 'em!" the gunman said. Hale did, slowly. "You too, chickie," the gunman said. Terry scowled, but obliged. As she did, she looked down at her waist. Hale followed her eyes and nodded. A man yelled from the top of the bomb car. The man had a Stevens Model 77 pump-action shotgun leveled at them. "Get out of the way, Stemple!" the man shouted. "These two are mine!" Give me a break, Shepard!" the gunman yelled without turning. "Why can't we split 'em?" "Because the lady killed my partner, Max," said Shepard. "And the guy thinks he's hot shit, so step aside." The gunman scowled, still hesitating. Hale looked at Terry. "When I move, fall flat," he said. Then he reached for her belt. Hale grabbed the pistol she'd taken from the dead gunman and, pushing her behind him, he fired at the gunman on the flat car. The man twisted and fell. His gun skidded towards the chopper. "Shit!" Shepard yelled. He unloaded the shotgun at the flat car. It punched a cloud of splinters several yards into the air. But neither of his targets was where they had been. Terry was on her belly and rolling towards the chopper. After shooting Stemple, Hale had thrown himself sideward and was already behind one of the main undercarriage wheels. Shepard pumped another round into the chamber. "You're gonna die, asshole!" he screamed. "We're in big, ugly holes!" Terry wriggled under the chopper to Hale's side. "How are we doing?" she asked. "He says we're going to die," Hale said. "I don't think so," Terry said, and whispered something into Hale's ear. A moment later, Hale yelled to Shepard, "Hey, tough guy! You want to shoot up the chopper?" Shepard sneered. "Nah, just you." "Not from up there, you aren't," Hale taunted. "Looks like you'll have to come and get me." Shepard walked to the side of the boxcar. "You don't think I will?" "Nope," Hale said. With a grunt, Shepard leaped down and began walking along the edge of the flat car, circling the chopper. "Notice something?" Shepard asked. "You can't get me from where you are, flyboy. Wheels are in the way. But in just a second, your ass is gonna be in my gun sight." He laughed. "And I see the babe creeping around behind you. Soon as I waste you, I'm gonna put some extra holes in her cute Ranger butt." Hale poked his gun around the chopper wheel and fired. The shot went yards wide. "Not even close!" Shepard yelled. He raised the shotgun to his shoulder. "Here," he said. "Let me show you how it's done." Just then, Terry rose from behind the landing light fixture at the front of the chopper. "No, let me show you," she said as she fired a burst from the semi-automatic which had slid under the chopper. The bullets struck Shepard in the throat, sending bloody filaments in all directions, like a spider web. His shotgun dropped to the flat car, and Shepard fell back silently from the train. "Nice," Hale said. As Terry dragged the dead gunman to the side of the flat car and tossed him over, Hale retrieved the shotgun and went to the cockpit of the Red Cross helicopter. He took a screwdriver from the toolkit, then went to the engine panel by the tail rotor. He unscrewed it, disconnected a wire, and let the end drop to the flat car. Then he put the tip of the screwdriver against the bottom of the gas tank and drove it in with the heel of his hand. There was a hollow pachang. He removed the screwdriver, punched a smaller hole on the side, and gas began glugging from the bottom hole. He tucked the screwdriver into his pocket and joined Terry in the front of the cockpit. "Done?" she asked. "Done," he replied. "So Deakins is stranded," she said. She looked ahead. "Now all we've got to do is stop this train." "And deactivate the bomb," Hale said, "which will be kinda tough without knowing the code." Terry said, 96 $7*1 enter. Hale looked at her. "That helps." "I thought it might." Hale was about to add that she was amazing when Deakins and the rest of his men climbed from the hatch on top of the bomb car. Hale and Terry ran towards the boxcar, reaching the side as the men gathered on the roof. Chapter 60. Deakins followed the three gunmen onto the top of the train. "We're running a little late," he said to one of the men. "Fire up the bird." While the man ran to the chopper, Deakins squatted next to the hatchway and looked around. "I heard the shotgun go off," Deakins said. "So where's Shepard and Stemple?" Another of the men said, "They're supposed to be right here. Maybe they went to check out the caboose." "Find them," Deakins said. Deakins watched as the gunman hopped down and ran towards the helicopter. Something wasn't right. If Shepard had punched Hale's ticket, he'd still be crowing about it. Deakins shielded his eyes from the sun as he walked towards the side of the boxcar. He looked out at the flat car, at the helicopter. He watched as the gunman reached for the ignition key, then saw the wire hanging from the engine panel. Below it was a pool shimmering in the light. "No," Deakins said. Then he screamed, "No!" But he was too late. The gunman turned the key. A spark hopped from the frayed tip of the wire, and the pool of fuel caught fire in a flash. The gunman looked back, saw the flames ride the stream of fuel up to the tank, and barely had time to scream before the helicopter exploded. The tail boom was lifted up by the blast, smashing the flight deck hard against the floor of the flat car. The drive shaft snapped at the concussion, and the rotor head flew towards the bomb car, its 4 blades turning a cartwheel. When the tail crashed back down, it separated from the main body of the helicopter as the 2 halves of the vehicle were swallowed in black and orange flame. The man in the chopper and the gunman running past vanished in the blast. The last remaining gunman on the bomb car had hit the deck, but Deakins stood his ground. Shards of hot metal struck his legs, neck, and forehead with BB-like force. The heat of the explosion singed his hair and eyebrows. "Didn't I say no?" Deakins said under his breath. The speeding train created a twisting trail of smoke and streaking flamelets. As the blast subsided and the blaze consumed the wreckage, the gunman rose. There was panic in his eyes. "Boss, we're trapped here now. We'll have to shut down the nuke." Deakins was staring out at the roiling flames. "Hale did this." The gunman looked at the major. "Maybe," he said, "but maybe he was killed in the blast." "No," Deakins said. "He wasn't. I feel him here." He looked at the thug. "I want you to find him for me." "Find him?" the gunman repeated uncertainly. "Okay, sure. Meantime, you're gonna go back down the ladder and disarm the bomb, okay?" Deakins raised his hand, but said nothing as he disappeared into the boxcar.